Here's a look at a recap of your markets on this Thursday, the 11th day of September. Had a couple of feeder cattle auctions around the state today. Mocan Livestock Market in Butler, and then Mid-Missouri Stockyards in Phillipsburg. As of the recording of this report, neither one of those auctions is complete yet today. It does look like, however, Mid-Missouri Stockyards is getting awful close to being done for the day, so we'll take a look at the prices from the sales at that barn today. Looks like most of the offering was lighter weight calves. The steers, medium and large ones, 400 to 450 pounds at 452.5 to 512.50, 5 to 6 weights at 400 to 458, 6 to 7 weights, 366 to 410, a small handful of 7 to 8 weight steers at 350 to 370. The feeder heifers, medium and large ones, some 4 to 5 weights at 392.5 to 422.50, 5 to 6 weights at 360 to 393, some 6 to 650 pound heifers at 360 to 362. It's going to be a bit of a lighter run there at Mid-Missouri Stockyards today. I'd say when everything's said and done, they're going to end up with somewhere around 800 head, which is including the slaughter cows. Taking a look at the box beef cutout values, both significantly lower today. Choice was down $4.85 at $400.79. Select down $3.73 at $379.95. Those values based on 112 loads of cuts, trimmings, and grinds. The Choice Select spread at $20.84. Saw a bit more feedlot trade develop today. Most of it so far this week's all been in the north. Very light volume reported in the south so far. Texas, 319 head, 238 to 240 live. Kansas has reported 369 head at 238 to 240 live. Iowa so far this week, 11,225 head. Live sales from 237 to 240. A few dress sales, very limited at 375. Nebraska's reported 17,752 head so far for the week. Some live sales at 237 to 240. Dress sales mostly at 375. So far for the week, total negotiated head count reported 34,528 head. Taking a look at the closing futures markets on the Mercantile Exchange, live cattle for October, 232.27 up $1.12. December at 234.12 up 145. February at 235.25 up 125. September feeder cattle closed up $2.02, 355.22. October up 195 at 352.35. November 350.47 up 220. Lean hogs October up $1.35 today, 98.17. December up 97 at 89.25, and February 90.57 up 35. Both the CME Feeder Cattle Index and the Missouri Stocker Formula lower once again today. That cash feeder cattle index based on an 800-pound steer up through the 12-state feeding region at 363.48. That's almost exactly where it was this time a week ago. It did have a big jump early this week, but has dropped every day this week, back almost even with where we were 1 week ago. The Stocker Formula down $2.33 today, $429.24, and that's based roughly on a 550-pound steer through the auction barns in the state of Missouri. Turning our attention to the grain markets now. At the elevators around the state on Thursday, soybeans 8 cents higher, wheat up 6, corn was steady to 4 higher. Corn bids in St. Louis 416 to 418, Kansas City at 396. Soybeans, St. Louis 1005 to 1006, Kansas City at 948, and then wheat in St. Louis 459 to 461. On the Board of Trade, futures markets, all of the September contracts getting ready to go off the board and expire here in a few days. So most of the attention focused on the new crop contracts now, as well as tomorrow and Friday. We'll have both the USDA crop production report as well as the monthly WASDE report. So everyone's kind of watching that to see if we have any projected yield upgrades from USDA this month. Taking a look at the closes today, old crop September corn Again, very light volume right now on these September contracts as they're getting ready to expire. $3.99 was the close, up $1.03. December new crop corn at $4.19 3/4, up 2 3/4. March at $4.37 1/4, up 2 3/4. September beans, $10.15 1/4, up 9 3/4. November new crop beans at $10.33 1/2, up 8 1/4. January at $10.52 1/2, up 7 3/4. Wheat for September up 8, $5.03. December up 6 1/2, $5.21 1/2. March at $5.38 1/4, up 5 3/4. Soybean meal for September up $1.90 a ton, $288.30. The soybean oil for September up 60 cents a hundredweight at $50.82. With the Missouri Department of Agriculture, that's a recap of your markets for Thursday. This is Tony Hancock.